not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? It is Tasha. We are back with another review of Married at First Sight. It is season 15, episode 15. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. Hit that subscribe button below if you are not already subscribed. We are so close to 2K. So if you keep coming back to watch this foolishness, hit the subscribe button, okay? Just go ahead. Cost you nothing. $0. Go ahead and hit it below. So we're going to jump right into the episode, y'all, because we got a lot to talk about. Don't mind my pillows back here because of the puppy and him being a large puppy. The pillows can no longer stay on the couch. They have to stay back here because it's a little bit harder for him to get to them when they're back here versus actually on the couch, okay? So it is what it is. All right. Anyway, we jumped into the episode 8 days until decision day. We are still at this dodgeball game, y'all. Basically, right now is Team Lindy, Team Miguel. Lindy says she's still, that he still needs to respect her. And basically, he is kind of training her to stop doing whatever she's doing when she feels disrespected. And she acts like he's almost trying to train her like a puppy to always please him. And I'm like, I don't necessarily agree, because at any point you can completely walk away if you feel like he cannot accept you for who you are. Like, no man is worth you losing your entire identity around just making sure you need to please him if you feel that way. I don't necessarily feel like Miguel is giving off the vibes of you got to please me, and if it's my way or the highway. Like, I don't necessarily feel like he's giving off those vibes, but in her mind it is being translated that way. So if that is the case, Lindy girl, you can walk away. You don't have to stay here, okay? Nate tells her that, you know, it's really about partnership when it comes to marriage. And I'm like, of course it is, Nate, because you're ready to move into Stasha's big old fancy house that we're going to see later on, okay? Lindy continues to cry, says she basically isn't going to give him the ability to control her, and either he accepts her or he leaves her. Y'all, they both annoying. They both getting on my nerves because she's acting like the ball is just in his court, that if he isn't happy with her, that he can leave. Girl, if you not happy, you can leave also, Lindy. It's a two-way street here, okay? Lindy and Miguel talk. She says that she feels like she can't even exist without him being mad. 20 on 10, girl. She tells him that, you know, she is scared at this point now because it was just so harsh how he was being, and now she really doesn't even want to get in the car with him. Yeah, I don't appreciate Lindy. I know Miguel is not black, but he is definitely a brown man, and her using these triggering words when we did not see this man put you in any type of danger, girl, for you to act like you so scared and afraid and you don't want to get in the car with him, Lindy. Like, you are doing the most right now. I ain't gonna say white woman tears, because y'all be getting, you know, your panties in a bunch when I say, you know, white women are giving out white women tears. But girl, ma'am, no, it's just no. And the thing I thought was so fun is that they both appear each other to be worse than they judge themselves. So she's thinking his behavior is much worse than he feels like he is given to her. He feels like her behavior is much worse, and she's like, you know, you haven't seen a 10. This is like a 4. Y'all just don't need to be together. It's that simple. You don't have enough history at this point to want or need to have to fight for it this hard when it's not working this early in the game. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. So all the couples start to drive back. Stasha asked Nate how he thought the weekend went. He said great for them, not so much for some others. Kristen says she's feel bad when other couples have to really go through things, but you know, it really could be a breakthrough in their relationship. Okay. Alexis says that Nate was talking to them about being freaky. And she wished that they could be freaky. And he tells her, Justin is saying, it was just that one time. It was just that one time. And I know I just need to work on my stamina. Alexis then asks him, are there any machines in the gym that can help him with the thrust. Alexis, can you please stop embarrassing this man on national TV? Like that was not, nobody asked for that. That was not called for. Like, girl. Alexis, just stop. Kristen and Mitch unpack. She asks if he had a favorite part of the weekend, and he says that she was his favorite part because she was in a good mood. And we all know it does not require much for Kristen to be excited. So the slightest, nicest thing he says to her, she's giddy, she's smiling, she's so excited. He says that the fun Kristen is a version of her that he likes. And she is like, yay, glad you liked it. Girl, what? So you realize if you stay with him, you're kind of committed to living in this happy, fun, Christian version of yourself for the rest of your life to potentially make him happy, right? You do realize that, right? Not sustainable. We then find out that Mitch is preparing to leave for a conference, and they think this is going to be the litmus test on if they really miss each other while they're apart. He says he thinks it'll be a good opportunity for him to have a little bit of both worlds, y'all. Single Mitch and married Mitch. So let me get this right. So because you away from your wife for a few days for supposedly a work conference, that makes you now single Mitch? That's not how this works. Just because you are away from your spouse and not maybe in the same city or state as your spouse does not make you single Mitch. You're still very much so married. Okay. And then she says she is nervous, but, I'll make sure the house, you come back, the house is clean, the house is, dog hair free, like, we'll be waiting for you to get back. Do you remember what his house looked like? You think he really cares about a house being spotless and dog hair free? I don't think so. Miguel and Lindy talk. She is happy the retreat is over. Miguel tells her that he loves her so much, but it terrifies him to think that they couldn't work, but he wants to figure out how to make it work. But also, he's also thinking about the other side of things of there's a potential that this could not work. She says divorce is not an option to her, so every time he says he isn't sure if she is her person, all she hears is that she is not good enough, and all she hears is rejection. Lindy, I'm going to need you to listen. Listen to the words he is saying and not listen to then interpret what you think he is saying or how you then take those words and put 1,000 on top of it to have your own version of what he said in your head, because that's truly not what he is saying, girl. Like, you can't live your life like this, ma'am. You cannot constantly rearrange the words that people are saying and create your own narrative. That's not how life works. She's just like, I don't think he understands the fundamental of marriage. Marriage is really just about loving each other. She says, this is just a tiny little hiccup. And, when things doesn't go his way, it just, makes her feel bad. And then she gives us all these excuses about, how things won't be perfect. They won't make each other happy all the time. No, you won't, Lindy. But marriage is just more, it's more than just we're being married, we love each other, and we should just tough through everything. That's not what it is, honey, my girl. That's not. Like, it requires work to address the issues that y'all have, be able to actually want to do something about those issues, rather that somebody compromising and y'all coming up with something totally different. But that's what it is. It's not just dealing with things because y'all are married and y'all love each other. That's not enough to last you the rest of your life, my good girl. It's just not. Lindy basically is trying to brush under the rug what happened. And again, they don't have enough history for really all this to be happening. And both of y'all behaviors look like complete red flags. So I don't understand how she can act like this is just some minor hiccup when she has cried, she has yelled, she has darn near had panic attacks, but yet she's just downgrading this to just, a little hiccup. Okay. 7 days until decision day, Stasha and Nate are visiting, their new home, aka Stasha's new house. She's excited to have him move in because, of course, we know Stasha is definitely thirsty for Nate. Stasha says she can compromise, but I can already hear the first argument that they have is going to be get out of my effing house. My effing house. It ain't going to be nothing about we, us, them, there. Get out of my effing house. I can already see it. Nate is impressed, of course, by everything. Can't wait to do his day trading from the big old bathtub in the master bedroom, child. Stasha is giving him house rules. Nate says he thinks it's really going to be hard for her to relinquish control, and indeed it is. She's just going to be super anal about keeping this house spotless. Nate is sitting on the couch and telling her, he's concerned about the safety of the home because there's just so many white things around. And she says, oh, I'll just teach the kids to, keep everything clean. Don't put their little hands on everything. And I'm like, Stasha, have you seen a toddler before? Have you met a toddler? Matter of fact, have you met an infant that will blow up poop all through the back of their diaper onto their clothes and whatever they're laying on? Have you not heard of these things at your 37 years of age that you think all this white stuff in this house is going to be safe for the first 5 years of you having a child? Okay, you sound crazy. Alexis and Justin. Justin is headed to get Maya finally from doggy prison. She's out there still being a gangster. She done bit another dog while she was out there. Justin looks completely devastated that he is choosing Alexis over his dog. And I'm like, this is hard either way, but you probably should have at least waited until decision day. He keeps saying that Maya is a great dog. And I'm like, but she keeps biting. So which is it? So he's giving her away to his best friend. And he says he's sad that he'll never see her in California again. So we don't know where the friend lives, but obviously it's far away. Justin says he's driving in the car and taking Maya to the apartment. Alexis was going to go to her own apartment, and then he said he didn't want to be without her, so she decided to stay. So when Maya's in the house, she's going to have to be in the crate since Alexis and Newton are there. And again, he just looks completely devastated and heartbroken to be giving up his dog. Like, y'all are only a week from decision day. Why didn't y'all just wait the week? Like, I understand you don't want to be apart, but I don't think it would have been that big of a deal for y'all to, maybe come together during the day, the evening. The dogs can be separated. And then at night, she can go to her apartment. You can stay there so that, Maya doesn't feel like she's locked up all day. But I think that would have been fine, at least for the next few days. Like, it's not that much longer that y'all have. We then see Nate and Stasha. They're going to shop for doorknobs and handles for her house. And as he's pointing out everything, she's just making all these ugly faces about it. She says she isn't trying to, really dominate. But, I just really want what I want. I mean, what we want. No, you said it right the first time, girl. Nate says he needs some of his personality in the house, or he's just going to feel like he's living in her house. Well, you kind of are. And that's what it's going to feel like, because I don't see Stasha bending or breaking on any of these things besides her telling her, oh, the garage, you can have all that. I got everything else, though, okay? She says design is really important to her. And basically, she wants the design to look how she wants it to look. And at this point, I'm like, Stasha, girl, well, why are you even involving him? This is technically your house. If you had a vision for how you wanted this house to look, which is before you met Nate, then proceed with said vision. Either you can execute it and he'll just be fine, just fitting right into what you already had planned. Or, you'll fix it up, y'all sell it, and then y'all will get a place that y'all can decide on things together. I mean, y'all can figure it out. We see Justin is at home playing with Maya. His friend shows up to pick her up, and Maya loves him. And at this point, I'm like, is it maybe just other dogs Maya doesn't like? Maya's cool with people, but it's the other people on four legs that she's like, nah, dog, I really ain't feeling y'all. Justin tells the friend that he anticipated challenges, but not a curveball of giving away his dog of 7 years. He says he just looks at this as a new chapter for Maya with his friend. Alexis then shows up in her Rhythm Nation Janet Jackson outfit, child. They get Maya all packed up. Alexis looks like she could care less one way or another to get Maya's things in this man's car and wave her, goodbye. See you later. Arrivederci. And as you know, Maya's in the car and Justin is saying his final goodbyes. The look on Maya's face of like, well, what did I do? Where am I going? Like, what is happening? That poor dog. That poor dog. Like, I'm thankful she's going to a friend and somebody he knows, but my goodness, Justin. So, of course, Justin is emotional. Alexis tries to comfort him, but she's really just sitting there looking like she wants him to come on and hurry up and get over this. He tells her that he hopes this shows his level of commitment to the marriage and, you know, if this means anything to her. She says it really means a lot, but she doesn't want it to mean everything. And basically she means she doesn't want Justin throwing this back in her face of, you know, well, I gave my dog up for you. And I mean, he did though. So there's that. Justin says that Alexis and their marriage is worth the sacrifice and he just hopes he's making the right decision. And all I can think of is, Alexis, you know you are not going to stay with this man. So why would you let him proceed with giving his dog away? Why would you let his friend drive 17 freaking hours to come and get this dog when you know you're not going to say yes on decision day to this man? Girl, I just don't know what to say about you. So we then see Chris in this video chatting with Mitch, and do you see how hippie she looks in this video for him? She has no makeup on her face. She has on just like a sweatshirt and these baggy mom looking jeans. Like, she is trying to make herself look the vision that Mitch has for his wife. She's already changing herself to accommodate what he would like to see. Y'all, did y'all peep that? I did. Mitch says that things have been great, but it's really been more social than work, and it sounds like he's having a good time. He says he misses her in all the good parts of their life together, and he just keeps making these little comments about, you know, the fun, Kristen, the good parts. That's not real life, Mitch. Things are going to happen. It's not always going to be fun and play and happy in vacation. That's not real life living with somebody else, Mitch. Like, I don't know what you're going to do, sir. Kristen says they're really in a good place and they felt happier since the retreat. And she really needs to focus on providing a father figure for Luna because that's important to her. This is a damn dog, Kristen. This is a damn dog. He does not care if he's in a 2-parent household, okay? He's survived this long with just you. I think Luna would be fine because this is not a real child. I can't believe you even said that, girl. She then tells him to work hard, but not too hard. Have fun, but not too much fun. And then she says, bye, boo. Girl. Lord, please release Kristen from the shackles of Mitch. I don't know what voodoo he has under this woman. Please release her from the shackles because this can't be real life. We then see Lindy Miguel at the gym as she complains about working out and thinks that lifting weights is going to have her looking like the Incredible Hulk. Girl, no. So she basically just ends up cheering him on. They get back home. He says that, you know, she will be happy because her insurance card came in the mail. And she gets so excited, y'all, because she's like, I can finally go to the doctor. You do realize you could have gotten life insurance on your own. This is not the 1900s, early 1900s, where you had to be married to get certain things like insurance and a bank account, ma'am. You can do these things on your own. Yeah, believe it or not. But now she says she feels more secure. She feels a step closer to hyphenating her name. And then she starts talking about the doubt, but says that really the doubt comes from him because of what he is saying. And it's really unfair for him to keep pointing fingers at her of this whole last name thing. And I was like, well, you can't really say that because you're sitting here saying this whole name thing is for you. Well, him putting you on his insurance was for you. How did that benefit him exactly? The only thing that did was that made his premium go up when he added on a spouse to his insurance. So I'm not sure how you're not relating that the two are very much so similar. He did something for you, you would do something for him in hyphenating your last name, not even completely losing your last name. But anyway, she tries to downplay his request. And of course, if he were to get an attitude, she would act like he's being negative and start to cry. So next is more gym time. And this time it's for Stasha and Alexis, Nate and Justin. The ladies are together. They talk about the moving plans for Stasha and Nate post decision day. She tells Alexis about their visit to the hardware store. She says she's really trying to make him feel comfortable being in her house, but she thinks that, the hardware store scared him because it's becoming more real. I said, no, I think the hardware store scared him because he saw how controlling you were over just some knobs and handles. So he can only imagine what the rest is going to look like. That's what scared him, Stasha girl. Justin then tells Nate that he needed the confirmation earlier when he texted Alexis about, them what they're going to say on decision day, to be sure she was saying yes, because they discussed if there was going to be any doubt, they would talk about it with each other. She basically ends up deflecting the question, which Justin should have been your answer when she could not give you a straight answer. On the other side, she is telling Stasha the same story and said that she didn't like basically feeling like his decision was dependent on her decision, and that really means they have a lot more to talk about. Justin tells Nate that she kept saying that she was going to be patient, but she would never answer the question. And then here comes Nate in the confessional, which continues to be TV gold, y'all. And he says he thinks Alexis is a liar because everything else she is so direct, but when it comes to this, she is unable to say yes or no. I agree, Nate. I agree. And that tells us her response is a no. Okay. Alexis says that they have really made progress, but when old glimpses of Justin comes out, she gets nervous, like when he gets upset, or if it's something that she feels like they've already worked on in the past and then it's coming back up. Girl, that's life, okay? She says a big part of her wants to say yes, but the other part asks if she can really tolerate this for the rest of her life. Justin then tells Nate that he feels like he has made his mind up. He said he has pulled his feelings out of it and he is only viewing the facts. And at this point, I said, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. He has finally seen the light, okay? He didn't wait till the last minute, the last hour. Thank you. He has seen the light, okay, Justin? You should have been saying this a few weeks ago, but I'm glad you finally come around, child. He says that basically with a week to go, the facts is what he's looking at because that holds a lot of weight. He says right now it's a 90% no for him. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But he says he really feels like he was being played this whole time. Yes, you were being played this entire time. You let her walk all over you, gaslight you, and she definitely played on the fact that you are so emotional, and she took advantage of that, unfortunately. So next we see Stasha and Nate. They're going on a hike, and I'm just like, why are we seeing so much of them this episode? But I digress. But this is something that he really enjoys. Not so much her, because she really isn't an outdoor girl. But really neither one of them are really here for a hike. They're here for TV, because neither one of them have on any type of hiking shoes or any type of really athletic exercise type shoes at all to be going for a hike, for that matter. She says she always wants to make this time for them, and then he keeps talking about them really having time when they have a newborn, and I'm just like, why is there so much talk about them having a baby this episode? Is she pregnant? Like, what is going on? Because he was the one that really didn't want kids soon. She did, but now all of a sudden he's the one that's continuously bringing up having a baby. Like, gosh, Nate, I'm tired of hearing about it. So when they get to some picnic tables, he has a little activity set up for them to make some guacamole. They continue talking about the whole kids situation. Stasha and Nate basically have two different ideas of basically what it looks like when they start to have babies. Nate seems to be more of a realist in this situation. Stasha thinks life is not going to change as much. And I'm just like, Stasha, yes, babies can tag along to go, wherever you want them to go with you. But the problem is you kind of don't know what kind of baby you're going to get. Are you going to get a really calm baby, a really crying baby, a really nosy baby? Are you going to get a colicky baby? Like, you just don't know what kind of child you're going to have to know if this is conducive for you to be traveling all the time. Like, this is a huge addition to your life, girl. Do you know how hard it is to travel with a child? You got car seat, stroller, diaper bag. If you pumping, you got breast milk, breast pump bags. If you got formula, you got to travel with diapers, all these changes of clothes. Like, I don't think she really understands how much work that is. And I do appreciate Nate in this instance of being a realist and like, I don't think you get it. I think Stasha just hears that he's saying like, oh, you can't do it. I don't think he's necessarily saying that, but I don't think Stasha is bringing home how difficult it's going to be. It's not just strapping the baby to your chest and y'all be able to just continue to travel around the world. It's a lot more than that you have to think about when you have another life. It's not a Cabbage Patch doll, sis. So she asks him if he is nervous about the transition post-decision day. He says yes, but he isn't getting cold feet. Of course you aren't, because you are winning in this situation, Nate. He asks what happens when basically she gets on her nerves, and she's like, oh, you do that now. So she asks, and he's like, well, kind of, I'm going to be homeless if you try to like kick me out or whatever, because this is your house. And she asks if there's anything she can do to make him feel like it's more like his home. And he's like, well, if we just decide, to end it, then basically where does that go? And she's like, I've told you before, I would never kick you out. And I was just like, do I really believe that? I don't think I do. I think I get the vibes that if Stasha gets really upset, that Stasha can get really nasty. I don't know why, but that's the vibe that I pick up from her. So I don't believe that she won't kick him out. So back to Lindy and Miguel. They're sitting around in his, Dungeons and Dragons gear, and, says it's been a lot of awkwardness still between them. So they decided to play Dungeons and Dragons to help loosen them up a little bit. So he gives her directions on how to play once one of his friends and one of her friends actually show up. And I was just like, you really expect her to follow these directions when she couldn't even, be quiet for 60 seconds to listen to you spit your poem or your rap the other week? You really? All right, Miguel. So he basically sets the scene and is trying to teach Lindy, how to play the game. Child, I don't get it. Lindy don't get it. I'm just not sure what's happening. But basically, it sounds like you kind of start a story, your friend take over and continue the story, and y'all got these little figurines and you can act the stuff. Child, I don't know. I don't know about no Dungeons and Dragons. Lindy says basically as Miguel is describing the game, it sounds like their relationship. And that's what I was thinking as well, as he was talking about kind of the people and the couple and the guy and the girl and all that stuff. So now we see Mitch is back with Kristen and Luna from his conference, and they are headed to the beach. Kristen is really excited while Mitch is really feeling hungover because he says they went out the last night of the conference. She then asks where is his wedding ring, and he picks it up and says, oh, here it is. And he slips it on and says, now I'm married again. Sir, what? Now you married again? You were still married the whole, just because you didn't have the ring on does not mean you weren't married. I'm not sure if Mitch understands how marriage exactly works, child. He said he didn't wear it because he didn't want to have to explain to everyone at work. So she then asks about, if there were any cute girls on the trips. And he says, yeah, it's mostly ladies that I work with and just a few guys. So Kristen's like shocked, but she's like, well, I appreciate him being really forthcoming. And I was like, well, maybe he's just trying to give you all this information so that maybe you can be the one to say no on decision day and not him. Mitch, Kristen, and Luna get to the beach. Kristen says, she wasn't happy that he was not wearing his ring with all the beach babes around, but she's trying to just let it go. Once again, she's beginning to change herself and now suppressing her feelings to please him. We then see Luna catching some wave on the surfboard, and y'all, she was just so stinking cute in her little life jacket. Like that was almost the highlight of their whole scene. Kristen says surfing is sort of like their marriage because they've kept getting smacked in the face basically with waves. But once you kind of pass all the roughness and you get to this calmness of it all, which she feel like that's where they are. Okay. Then Mitch has to let us know that basically him being away without his ring make him really feel more like himself. And he feels like he now seems to be in competition with himself and what he wants, basically single Mitch versus married Mitch. Next, we see Lindy and her friend talk, and she tells her that they've been very consistent up until now, and then the last week has really been horrible. Miguel is talking to his friend about their big miscommunication issue as well, and basically Lindy says that they are not big issues. Lindy says she doesn't think he understands the fundamentals of marriage, and he wants her to really be a certain way to fit his agenda. She's too emotional, she yells too much, she interrupts him, etc. She just feels like she just can't, be all things that he wants her to be. And I'm like, well, Lindy, honestly, honey, some of these things that you're doing does need to be checked and does need to be addressed and adjusted if you want to be in a successful marriage with someone. Like, you just can't curse people out and fly off the handle and then expect your spouse to want to give you a hug and a kiss in the next 5 minutes after that. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. She says that he knows how much she loves him, and basically she'll do anything to make it work. So it almost feels like she acts like Miguel is trying to manipulate her because he knows that she won't leave him and she'll just do whatever. That's a you problem, Lindy. That's not a Miguel problem, because if he has not come outright and said that, and that's the assumption you have made, you cannot fault him for that, because that's you, honey. You. Lindy problem, not Miguel problem. Miguel tells his friend that he still loves her and wants to work, but right now is not working for him. Lindy says she feels like she is really losing her fight and feels like he wants her to be perfect, and it is really sucking the soul out of her body. And when they cut to Lindy's friend, child, Lindy's friend's face looks like the rest of our face of, girl, we are over the dramatics of it all. Just shut up. Either you gonna be here and try to do better, both of y'all try to do better, or you going to leave. But all this dramatics of acting like you are the victim, honey, we all over it. All of us, we're over it, child. And then she says that Miguel can't handle the truth. So she feels like she can't really be honest with him because he can't handle it. Lindy, if we are being honest, everything that you said, it sounds like you can't handle the truth. If you were to be honest with him, you cannot handle him possibly saying, well, I don't want to be with you and I want to get a divorce. So it's not him, honey. It's you. It is you. So she cries, and basically she's afraid of losing him. And again, this is no way to be in a marriage, child. She is really just more afraid of this not working out than she really is into putting the effort to really communicate and compromise. She's just not ready to be a wife. Like, she's just not mature enough yet to be somebody's wife. So now Nate and Stasha are back at the apartment, still talking about this kid and having a baby, y'all. And I'm about to roll my eyes at this point, because why? Why are we dragging this out? Like, why? She says that, you know, with his mom not being in his life, that is triggering to him. And basically he wants her to be the perfect wife and mom. Well, Stasha, let's be honest. Your dad not being in your life has been triggering for you as well, where you want this perfect, you know, two family, mom and dad with a little baby. That's what you want. So you can't just put it off on him as if he just wants, you know, you to be a certain way. You want him to show up a certain way as a dad, because you didn't have that in your life as well. Y'all go get a dog, not have a baby. Kristen and Mitch end up hanging with Justin and Alexis on the roof, and Kristen says that they've really gotten close, and that's probably the couple that they are the closest with. Mitch says she talks to Alexis almost daily. Well, Alexis, why you ain't spraying their tea like you was spraying Ben and Morgan's tea, child? They play ping pong. Justin and Alexis win. They then sit and start drinking together. Kristen brings up, you know, brings him up to speed about the conference with Mitch being gone. Mitch says that Kristen was on his mind all day, and Kristen seems shocked that you were thinking about me at the conference, which, you know, the beach ladies in the hot tub jacuzzis without your ring being on. Is that what you want me to believe? Okay. Mitch then tells her that basically the days were just, you know, full of things. We had, you know, meetings and lunches, and then, you know, dinners and more meetings. And I said, that's funny, because earlier in the episode you said it was more social than work. So it seems like you would have had a lot more free time to check in, you know, and tell your wife that, you know, you missed her. Kristen then brings up the ring and really tries to play it off as if it's not a big deal, when in reality, again, it is, suppressing her feelings. Alexis asks Kristen how she feels, and she says she is nervous because he didn't have his ring and there was a hot tub. And I said, girl, and that's what made you nervous? Don't nobody want Mitch but you, child. Nobody wants him but you. Justin then tells him that Maya went to his friend and tells us, you know, at that point how long the drive is. That's a good friend you got, Justin, because I wouldn't do it. Alexis thinks basically, again, her decision should have nothing to do with his decision. And I think it does, because Justin really is in self-preservation mode of, let me try to, you know, level set with myself where I am and where we need to be, so that I don't get that hurt on decision day. Alexa says she is only 90% sure and that 10% speaks very heavily at times. Mitch asks if that 90% is enough and Justin says it is not. Justin says she could have just held off on having him make the decision about Maya because she wasn't 100% sure. I agree. He said he needed the affirmation. And she says, you know, well, we've been looking at apartments and stuff as if that's supposed to be the affirmation to show him that she is serious. And he's just like, no, I just needed you to say it. She says she could have been clearer. And Kristen says, really, if I was sitting at a 90%, it would be hard for me to say yes. And I'm like, yes, nobody should say yes unless they're at 100%. Kristen says they really have to base their decision on how the marriage makes them feel as not only individuals, but as a couple. And Mitch then talks and acts like she's holding him back from participating in his usual activities. He's like, I kind of want to feel like myself and, you know, go to the beach and ride my bike and do this and do that. And I'm like, when has she stopped you from doing whatever it is that you like to do? I have not seen Kristen do that, Mitch. You just want to be single and out here just doing whatever. Kristen basically tells Mitch that she needs the same thing from him as far as affirmation, but that's something he can't give her because he does not believe it. So she says really just to think about the last 8 weeks, and if you know you want things to continue how they were, then that's kind of your answer on decision day, and all 4 of y'all should be saying no. All right, the episode wraps up with Lindy and Miguel. They are talking yet again. He does not know what to do. Lindy said she just needed to vent to her friend. And Miguel said he felt a little uncomfortable as you have to be careful what you share with her friend. So I guess when her friend was leaving, maybe he felt the vibe was different or off at that point. So of course that meant Lindy must have shared something. And I do agree. You have to be careful what you share with your friends and family when you are in a marriage, because when you forget and make up with your spouse, your friends or your family still going to be giving your spouse the side eye because they are not going to forget and forgive as easily as you have. So you always want to be mindful that you are being careful with your words and you are still showing your partner in the best light you possibly can while getting some good advice. Now, if you are in the process of leaving your partner, to hell with what you say. It don't matter at that point. But if you want to stay together, you have to be careful with your words, child. He said he doesn't want to be made the villain. She says she is the one that's being made the villain. Girl, you are not. And then she goes in yet again about being afraid to lose him and says she really cannot handle this. And I'm like, why do you want to stay married so bad if you don't seem happy? You keep crying, you keep yelling, you keep being upset. Why would you want to stay in this? Just to be married? Just to be married? Girl, no. No. She says that they still have a lot to work through, and yes, y'all do with such a short amount of time. Miguel says he really cannot be in a two-faced marriage because she is one way to him and then saying other things to her friends. Y'all, at this point, I got so sick and tired of hearing her sob and cry that I just tuned myself out, and I just really did not listen anymore because, again, if it is causing you this much distress, you don't have to be here. Just leave. It's not worth this mental and emotional turmoil you are putting yourself through, honey. If this is not your person and it's not meant to be, and you feel like you can't be yourself and you've been trying so hard and you've been suppressing yourself, if you got to do all that, this ain't the person for you. Like your friend said, maybe that just ain't the one for you. These married at first sight people do not get it right most of the time, girl. It's fine if you walk away and start fresh with someone else, okay? Anyway, that was the end of the episode, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. Drop them down in the comments below, and I will meet y'all there. I don't believe there is no new episode next week. I believe it's just the old couples coming to talk about what their thoughts are on the couples and what they're going to say on decision day. So if that is the case, I will not be reviewing that nonsense, and I will be taking Wednesday night off until the next video, y'all. So I'll catch y'all next time, whenever that is. Peace.